Time to get into your emails, your questions, your complaints. We're going to do all of that in just a minute. But I want to welcome you to the show first. Thank you for joining me as the newer listeners come on. And those of you who have been listening to me for a long time, I appreciate your support on this Friday, March 13th, 2026, as we get into the real meat of the WrestleMania season. And I have to say, I wonder how you guys feel. It's perhaps me. You know, I'm not the most normal person, to say the least. I just feel maybe I'm a little bit off and askew from the typical fan here, but this year's WrestleMania feels directionless in a way. Even though we have Cody back in the main event, even though he lost the Rumble, he lost the Chamber, WWE found a way to put him back in, which I think the fans are going to resent. This is a weird WrestleMania, and I feel like every year I say that it doesn't feel like WrestleMania season. And this year, it's not only that it doesn't feel like WrestleMania season, and maybe that feeling is long gone for us, that where we had a normal anticipation and excitement towards WrestleMania, that aura of WrestleMania has faded, and it's been faded for a long time. I feel like I've been saying it doesn't feel like WrestleMania season. It doesn't feel like WrestleMania season for like 10 years. So I'm not sure exactly where that feeling kind of just disappeared. But in addition to that normal feeling that I still somehow expect, it feels directionless, like we're in a fog of WrestleMania. Like, I know it's WrestleMania season. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it, but we're used to it not feeling it like WrestleMania season anymore, because WrestleMania has been really redefined as this entertainment-y, not really about the wrestling. It's about the other stuff, and the wrestling's like a sideshow. Maybe that's the reason. But the direction of the company right now feels really scattered. I don't know where they're going. And yes, they've had a lot of injuries, but injuries are part of the game. And it feels like this is a safe WrestleMania. The main events are safe. And that's not a bad thing, but it doesn't feel aggressive to me. And I don't know if I'm putting an unfair expectation for them to take the risks, because it's not my company. Easy to spend other people's money, easy to tell people who own organizations what to do when it's not your own livelihood at stake. I totally get that. But this year feels just, maybe compared to the last few, it feels like I don't know where we're going anymore. Last second changes, last second major title changes. I'm not a particular fan of that because I think it does the current champion a disservice. And it essentially sends the message to fans that we didn't want this person in the main event. We don't trust them to draw big numbers. And perhaps they are a bit gun shy, because this is a ticket season that's not going well for them. They have ticket sales that are underwhelming, to say the least. From what I understand, this is according to, I believe, and I got this from, credit to the Stevie Richards Show. Shout out to them. I have no connection whatsoever to them, but I love the work that they do. The Stevie Richards Show, big fan. And I got this from them. They posted this a couple days ago, that WrestleMania has not even sold 40,000 tickets on either night, that they're still under their high 30s for both nights. That's not good. That's well under what they sold last year. Well under it. And they're only selling a few hundred per day. They are nervous, and they should be. Because I think for the first time, the company is realizing, hey, we can't just rely on the brand of WrestleMania to be sold to the fans for them to buy tickets anymore. The fans aren't going to look at this anymore and say, oh, okay, it's WrestleMania. I don't know what the card is, but I'll spend whatever it takes. Especially after the bad taste in our mouths last year. Ticket prices have never been higher. Just inflation in general. It's in the same place as last year. And the card doesn't exactly light up your world. Sure, you have Randy Cody. There's problems with that in of itself, but yeah, I'll talk about that later. And you have Roman and Punk. On paper, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But again, you have Cody once again shoehorned into the main event of WrestleMania. Drew is out. He's probably going to work with Jacob Fatu, which is a damn shame. It's a damn shame. Drew does not deserve that. And yeah, for Jacob Fatu, it's a huge match. For Jacob Fatu, it's just the inverse. Biggest match of his entire career. For Drew, he gets the shaft. He gets screwed. And I feel for him. And I think the fans will too. And the fans will, I think, rally behind Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. On top of that, you have just a general mistrust of booking lately with Triple H. And you have the wrestlers telling us to just essentially shut up and enjoy the product. And you have on top of that, the feeling of and evidence of TKO trying to squeeze every dollar out of every fan that they possibly can with their money-hungry vision and strategy that they're not even trying to hide. You compile all that, and it makes sense that WrestleMania tickets are down. And they deserve it. WWE deserves to get this message loud and clear. You compile all that shit, and you're going to get the result that should be lower ticket prices or lower ticket sales. That's what you deserve. And I hope they turn it around. I'm not rooting for WWE to go out of business. It sounds like I am. It sounds like I'm anti-WWE, even though I have an entire show I've done about wrestling for 12 years. I don't hope the company goes under. I hope they just get the damn message that we as fans are not going to pay whatever you tell us that we're going to pay. Screw you. Screw you. They flaunt it in our faces at the events of the Gross Gate. They put it on our faces on TV telling the crowd we made more money off of you than we made out of any crowd ever. And the fans are like, yay. Whoa, right. I spent the most money out of any fan ever. People need to wake up, and I think they're starting to wake up. And WWE is getting the message, and I think there's probably panic a little bit inside WWE. Now, you won't see massive empty sections. WWE will, if the ticket prices don't improve, they will find ways, and they should, production-wise, to hide the empty seats. They probably won't talk about attendance. I wouldn't, especially when you compare it side by side to last year. That's the other risk you run. If you don't talk about attendance, then it's kind of an omission by silence that you did not do as well as last year. I don't think they'll have another WrestleMania back-to-back in the same location. They've probably learned their lesson on that. So this is, right now, somewhat of a disaster for WWE when it comes to ticket sales for WrestleMania. Now, WrestleMania isn't their end-all, be-all. Right? I mean, it's their end-all, be-all show of the year, but they'll move past this. It's not like the life of the company is hinging on WrestleMania being a success. But I think the WWE is saying, oh boy, what the hell's going on here? And now look, if they turn it around, the only way to turn this around, and get fans to shell out the money that they're asking for is, sure, they can run sales. They can run ticket sales, and they might continue to do that, especially closer to WrestleMania. But the way you do it, it's not exactly revolutionary. Bring in massive stars. Now, I'm not a fan on principle of bringing in yesteryear's stars to sell WrestleMania. But in this case, if they are trying to make sure they sell as many tickets as possible and they're starting to put themselves in panic mode, although they'll never admit that publicly, then you bring in the big stars. Who? Stone Cold Steve Austin. Look, I know he's pushing 60. He can't go the way he used to. He did a very good match with Kevin Owens a couple of years ago at WrestleMania 38. Was it in Dallas? Did very well. But if you want to sell a ticket and you don't want to go to Saudi Arabia and wait for that, which I'll get to in a second, then you bring in Austin. Who do you have him face? Hell, I don't know. You could have him face Brock Lesnar. If you want to go all out, you want to sell tickets, you want a true needle mover where it gets the fans' attention, you want a match that people will be discussing immediately and looking at as, oh my God, I can't believe we're getting this. I want to go to Vegas. That this is a match that if you were able to make happen, and it's actually plausible. Brock's actually active on the roster. He's looking for an opponent. You have Stone Cold Steve Austin who said he can still go. Why the hell not? If you want a match that immediately gets people texting their friends and going to Ticketmaster and going, oh my God, maybe I could make this happen. This is a once in a lifetime. You want to immediately expedite ticket sales and get thousands more people to consider going and spending the money to do it. This is the match that could do it. And it's plausible. Brock is still open. Austin 316 Day is Monday. It's Monday Night Raw. Guess who's going to be at Monday Night Raw this week? Brock Lesnar, who's looking for his WrestleMania opponent. It's 316 Day. The stars are aligning. It sounds insane. Although it really shouldn't if you're WWE, you're TKO. All you need, the only thing that is stopping this match from happening is Steve Austin. Steve Williams, his real name, right? But he's the only guy that would say, you know what, I don't have time. I don't know if I can perform to the level that I expect of myself. That's the only thing that could stop it. It's right there for the taking. Yeah, it would take a lot of zeros on checks for Austin to come back, but he would, if the money's right and he feels good, let's go. Let's freaking do it. But that would shift. I think not only would that get people to physically decide to go and make the trek to Vegas and spend the money that they don't have, which WWE doesn't give a shit about. I mean, they just want people to go. Not only would it do that, but it would increase, I think, ESPN subscriptions to their overpriced $30 a month. It might even push me to do it. And I've been very adamant not to. It would, I think, generally get people talking more about WrestleMania on social media. I mean, it sure as hell would. Everyone knows who Stone Cold Steve Austin is. Everyone. Everyone knows who Brock Lesnar is. Both guys are household names. They aren't these fringe top guys in wrestling that only really wrestling fans know who they are, but they're household wrestling names. No, Stone Cold and Brock Lesnar transcend wrestling. You'll bring people in that haven't been talking about wrestling or watching wrestling for a decade. And maybe they even checked out in the Ruthless Aggression era. You would bring people back. Now, the expectation for that match would be high, but also realistic, I would hope. But you talk about a game-changing, paradigm-shifting match. Stone Cold versus Brock Lesnar is on the goddamn table. If they don't at least explore this, they are morons. You have the stars aligning. Brock searching for an opponent. It's Austin 316 Day. Brock is confirmed to be at Monday Night Raw. It's right there. And it would shift, I think, everything about how people look at WrestleMania. Now, look, you're going to have people, if that match happens, you're going to have people still talking about how, oh, it's going to be shitty. These guys are old. It's not what it could have been. Look, I don't care. It's not. It won't be bad. These two men cannot make it bad. They can't. It's not going to be a 25-minute Bret Hart, Steve Austin WrestleMania 13 classic. It's going to be a 12 to 15-minute brawl that is slow-paced, and that's fine. And you're going to have people going wild for this. But yeah, you'll have the naysayers. You always will. Who cares? Screw them. You're going to get a match that is a match that should have happened 20 years ago and actually could have happened. And now it was going to happen 22 years ago. In 2004, it should have happened. Even 2003, it could have happened with Brock Lesnar. So 23 years ago, and we're getting it almost a quarter century later. So I'll get off that horse until it actually happens. But if Brock's opponent is Obafemi, it's like, okay, fine. Brock Lesnar's on the card, which helps a little bit. But we already knew Brock was on the card, right? So the ticket sales are already inclusive of Brock Lesnar being on the card. So if it's Obafemi, that's not going to do anything. It's just going to be like, oh, yeah, okay, we kind of figured it was Obafemi. No one's going to move any tickets or look at this and say, oh my God, yeah, well, oh, it's Obafemi. Well, let me buy a ticket and spend money I don't have. No. But Stone Cold Steve Austin, that's a game changer right there. So I'll stop. I've spent 10 minutes talking about a match that doesn't exist yet, but if you're looking for all the stars to align, man, they are right there. My fear is that next year at WrestleMania 43 in Saudi, well, number one, that I'd be a little bit fearful. I mean, imagine if Saudi Arabia was in WrestleMania this year was in Saudi Arabia. Given what's going on with Iran and everything, and the Department of Homeland Security telling essentially if you're a United States citizen in Saudi Arabia, You might want to get out. It would not be a good situation. They are probably counting their blessings that it's not in Saudi Arabia this year. But it will be next year, and God knows what the geopolitical scene will look like at that point. I mean, Saudi Arabia has, we all know, as fans, we look at it and go, this, no matter where you are, unless you're in Saudi Arabia, I have not heard a single fan go, oh my God, it's great that it's there. Nobody, I don't care if you're in the United States, in Canada, in South America, in Europe, Australia, I've heard no one be excited about this other than TKO, who continues to just laugh all the way to the bank every time that they have a show there. So, all right, I'll get off this. It's time to hear from you guys, but I want to let you know that if you want to go ad-free, and you've heard ads throughout the show already, patreon.com/WWE podcast. Go there. You can also subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Spotify has an ad-free feed. So check it out. If you listen to the ads and you go, oh my God, that's how you get rid of them. Okay, let's talk to a patron and see what they have to say. We have, let's see. Oh, we got Bad Fish. He says, hey, Matt, hope all is well. Long time no write, but I have a theory I'd like to share with you and the community. I think LA Knight is joining the vision. Him driving Heyman in the ambulance is the perfect way in. He's gotten nowhere as a babyface. He's been publicly shunned by Triple H on Unreal. I think it's time they turn him heel and Heyman is just the man to talk him into it. What do you think? I mean, Heyman can talk anyone into anything. I mean, he could sell ice to an Eskimo, right? The old saying. But LA Knight, I don't know. It's not that he hasn't gone anywhere. He's got the fan support, and he has been. He's had and maintained a level of support from fans that you don't see very often. And the fans have been in support of him and kept about the same level of support, despite the fact that they haven't given him a championship yet, which is all the evidence you need that he should be a champion at some point. And it should have been a long time ago. But given that it was Cody or nothing for a while, or Roman or nothing, right? And then it was Seth, and then Seth was world champion for a while, right? Like, it seems like they can't time it out with LA Knight, and whatever Triple H's issues are with LA Knight continue to fester. I don't know. He just he has an issue with him, and we don't know why. But I don't know if turning him heel is the answer, because what was all the support for? It would have been for essentially nothing. I really don't know if the fans are going to turn on him. I don't know if they'd go with it, because the fans have just an organic love for him. And sometimes that organic love can be turned on its head in a great way, and they'll hate him just as much as they loved him. But we've seen people that have been beloved try the heel turn, and it just doesn't work. So I don't think right now, look, would I be opposed to at least trying? No. But based on the information I have now, I don't know if it'd be the best idea, given what type of babyface LA Knight is, and that he's never been champion. I think fans would groan at it and go, all right, I guess we're supposed to hate him now. All that support for the last few years, what was that all for? A couple of predictable title losses. He never made it as champion. Like, I mean, I'm not sure. It's worth a try if they don't know what else to do with him and they're not going to make him champion in the next 12 months. Like, give it a go. But I'm a bit concerned that it would not work. Thank you, buddy. Okay, let's see who else we've got. This is, let's see, we've got, I'm not sure who this is. I actually don't know who this is. I really don't. But let's see. This is from an emailer. Don't know who we have no name. It says Rusev lied about a fan interaction on a podcast. He claims the fan puts his hands on him, but he did not. Wrestlers should not be able to lie about fans. The first link is the lie. Rusev claims the fan put his hands on him at a WWE live event while doing an interview on a podcast at Shaq Wrestling. The second video proves otherwise. Maybe you heard about this, but did you see the alternate angle? Yeah, I saw your videos, and you're absolutely right. I mean, I saw the lie. I saw the second angle. I don't know what the purpose of this is, though. Like, why would he lie? Attention? I mean, I'm not sure. Rusev, I've never heard anything bad about Rusev up until this point, about him lying, or he has a tendency or a history of a pattern of lying, nothing like that. So I'm not sure why he would do this. Really, I mean, I haven't heard anyone else really make a big stink about it, but you're right. And it's something to keep an eye on. So thank you, WWE fan. I'm not sure, again, who you are, but good stuff. And again, kind of bookmark that and see if that anything comes of it. All right. Let's see. As of this moment, we actually don't have any other messages, but we do have, and in lieu of messages, I want to talk about some other news that's going on because it's worth talking about. So this is according to Wrestling Inc. Credit to them. Always make sure I do. I really will never take any analysis or any news stories without giving credit. I know there's some other people that do. It's not that I'm better than those people, but it's just, I think out of respect, I won't do that because I know the effort it takes to be in this this space, so to speak, of podcasting and news reporting about wrestling. And it's just kind of the right thing to do. Even if I am giving free promotion to other places, I don't care. So this is Wrestling Inc. And it's backstage news on internal frustration regarding the WrestleMania 42 promotion. So this is, according to them, WrestleVotes Radio on Fightful Select reports that WWE's graphics department has had the most issues dealing with multiple changes. One source close to the situation revealed that the promotional direction for WrestleMania 42 initially began with WWE wanting a high-end, classy vibe to promotional material. This was highlighted in the earliest posters released for WrestleMania 42, including the one that featured Triple H with top stars such as Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes at a poker table, and another that featured top women stars such as Charlotte, Ripley, and Io Sky in a lounge area. After that initial push, WWE, their ideas regarding graphics for WrestleMania have changed multiple times from the original vision, which is, I guess, no pun intended. While it's unclear how many changes have been made overall, a recent poster for the upcoming match between Punk and Roman shows the contrast, with the casino theme no longer being used in favor of a more sleek look akin to most wrestling promotional posters. Over time, the number of changes the graphics department has undergone with the promotional material has reportedly led to many members feeling frustrated. Well, welcome to WWE. I mean, if you're frustrated with WWE's changes, I mean, I don't know what to say. That's just kind of how the business is. I mean, to me, that's just typical frustration you can find in any organization where there's changes and people make a bunch of effort for things that they don't need to ultimately. I mean, I have that personally going on with my own work. You spend all this time doing this or that, and ultimately it's like, oh yeah, I guess we didn't need that. It's very frustrating. But I mean, so it's just a common complaint. I don't know. I honestly don't know why this is a news story, honestly, but whatever. This is according to, let's see, WrestlingNews.co. Cody Rhodes says, I think bell to bell, you're going to get one of the better WrestleManias ever. Yeah. Let's see if that actually happens. I don't know about that. I mean, it's possible bell to bell. This is what he said in an interview with Chris Van Vliet. That's where that quote came from. He said, quote, and this place certainly gets all of me, so I would have been able to dig in. But I think looking at WrestleMania this year, I said it incorrectly. I said Sleeper Mania, which would imply that people are sleeping on it, and that's not what I meant. What I think you're going to get from this year's WrestleMania is you have two main events with Roman and Punk for the world title, and myself and Randy. And the show that's filling out with Stephanie and Liv, and the show you're seeing kind of come together because these matches are starting to become obvious what they are. I think bell to bell, you're going to get one of the better Manias ever. Bell to bell, I really like being a part of that. Okay, so this is essentially a nothing burger. He's towing the company line. And look, if you're in Cody's position, you kind of have to. He's saying, what's weird is he said, and he even quoted himself saying that he said it's a sleeper mania. He said that implies that people are sleeping on it. Well, no shit, Cody. That's what that means. What else could being a sleeper mania mean? That's exactly what people are doing. And you're trying to pretend that that's not what sleeper mania means. No, Being a sleeper WrestleMania or a sleeper anything means people are sleeping on something. They're overlooking it. They're downplaying it. They're disregarding it. They're underestimating it. Pick your synonym. That's what that means. So don't try to pretend that that's not what that means. That's definitionally what that means. And then he just goes on to say that, you know, you're going to see bell to bell a better. So what that essentially, let me just put this in plain language instead of this kind of like corporately sanitized, HR sanitized language, which is how Cody speaks. It's how a lot of wrestlers speak today, especially John Cena, who is just like he's like a walking HR sanitation department. He knows how to speak in HR language. It's like he took and spent 5 years in a compound where they taught him how to speak in human relations language. And that's exactly how John Cena speaks. And to some extent, and a large extent, Cody Rhodes too. So let me just say it like normal people do. He's saying, yeah, I know that a lot of people aren't looking at this WrestleMania. They're not excited about it because, look, some of the matches aren't exactly, you know, earth-shattering. It's a very safe WrestleMania. It's not like this WrestleMania has a ton of hype. Fans seem kind of down on it. But don't worry, the wrestling in the ring is going to make up for it. This is exactly what that means. So if you want it in just like normal people language and not this sanitized bullshit, that's what that means. Don't worry, the promotion hasn't been great. We feel directionless and people have been kind of down on this year's WrestleMania, but in the ring, we're going to be really good. That's all that means. And maybe he's right. And I hope he's right because we watch wrestling to, actually watch wrestling and the entertainment value, which is the wrestling. There's some comedic parts, and Danhausen, I can admit when I'm wrong. And so far backstage, he has impressed me. In the ring, we'll see. I'm still not a big fan of his entrance, but there is an entertainment value there. Totally get it. I admitted at the time, and I went on a big rant about how shitty I thought Danhausen was and his entrance, and you know it was just comedic and cartoonish, and it was at the time. Yes, but I also said it concurrently that I hope I'm wrong. I want him to succeed, and so far, hey, they are pushing him out there. Why? Because he's making the company hand over fist money with his merch. I mean, he's the number one t-shirt seller right now. Congrats to him. I wish him nothing but more success. Because I want WWE to succeed. I want to be very interested in the product. I want to not be embarrassed by the product. But Danhausen is such a unique character. And if he continues to do well, awesome. I want him to. I really do. So, but most people watch WWE to have great wrestling, great storylines. It's really that simple. I know that, again, that's a very simpleton way to look at it. I don't give a shit. That's how it is. That's what we came to wrestling for. That's what brings us back. That's what brings us back is just great storytelling and great in-ring action. It's that simple. And if Cody's right and this WrestleMania, we go into kind of, all right. I mean, like the card's okay. Nothing big, earth-shattering on it. Sounds good, sure. But then we come out of it going, wow, the match has kicked ass. Then I hope we do. I mean, I really hope we come out of it. I don't want a shitty WrestleMania. But right now, this is extremely underwhelming. It doesn't feel like WrestleMania season. It's been a very just kind of, I don't know where we're going feeling as I open the show with. So, yeah, again, take that corporately sanitized BS and just turn it into plain language. Yeah, so there's some other stuff he talked about, but that's really the big headline there. And yeah, we are sleeping on this year's WrestleMania, and perhaps we are put to sleep by it. Perhaps our fears are going to be realized. I mean, it very well may be the case. So Seth Rollins also gives a huge update. This is according to Wrestling World. A huge update ahead of WrestleMania 42. This was published as of this recording about an hour ago. He, let's see here. I'm looking for the actual meat of it. Rollins did not receive, although he was indicated or included in WWE shows again, he did not receive medical clearance to return to compete. And during his last appearance on Good Morning Football, he revealed that his current shape, he revealed it without hiding anything. He said, I can't get into any real physicality. I got to protect this shoulder for maybe another couple weeks or so, and then we'll see if we need these masked men. He also added, I was just hoping nobody lost a shoe. Hopefully nobody falls over. When you're dealing with a lot of bodies like that and a lot of moving parts, I was just hoping nobody blew out an ACL. That's true. Yeah, these masked men, I've been very critical of them. They're trying to find things for Seth to do and include him on the road to WrestleMania with the hope and anticipation that he's going to be actually active in a match, which is all our expectation too. And it seems like that should be the case. Is it going to be Logan Paul and Seth Rollins? Seems probably where they're going, which leaves Austin Theory out in the dust with the original Masked Man this year. So yeah, they're keeping him on TV without having him take any bumps. I have no issue with that. I don't like the Masked Man story. It has been just beat to death over and over and over. But if the idea is to bring Seth into the fold with a match at WrestleMania, but you have to have him on TV without taking bumps, this is one way to do it. I don't think it's the best way, but it's one way. So I just also don't understand why Seth has to do the Masked Man thing and play Where's Waldo instead of just showing up on the show and Adam Pearce is like, hey, you're not medically cleared. And Seth's just like, yeah, I know. I'm not medically cleared, but you're saying I can't be here. You know, and again, that's not as, maybe that's just a very boring way to approach it, but you could do that instead of this kind of hokey pokey stuff with him disappearing into the crowd and, you know, trying to be a magician or whatever he's doing. So, I mean, I get it. And he ultimately will be in a match. And if it's with Logan Paul, again, I feel the same way about Logan Paul that I kind of do about the rest of the matches, or rather Seth and Logan, that I do about the rest of them. It's like, okay, safe, going to be good to really good. But here's the thing about WrestleMania and the expectations that come with it. It's not like any other PLE of the year. You know, like that's why I think a lot of fans are sleeping on it. And they have the right, they have a strong justification to is, cool. Yeah, like we're looking at that going, okay, yeah, we've seen these matches before. I mean, yes, Punk and Roman is a bit unique. We've seen these matches, but we know they're going to be good to good, really good in the ring, which is again what Cody's alluding to. But it doesn't have that WrestleMania feel. You know, like it doesn't have that look of wow. Oh man, I can't wait for that. That's the difference, because also we've seen these before. Punk and Roman, again, is kind of the outlier, and it's a big match, and the promos have been really good. So that I would put that match in terms of anticipation a little bit above all the others, because I know, look, a lot of you are probably saying, well, Cody Randy. I don't like the way that it was done, though, and the way that it was set up. Because the Cody Randy is a match that we haven't gotten yet. But here's the thing. Cody Randy should have been set up. And in my mind, a more interesting setup is having one of them turn heel. And that way you can fully squeeze out the promos, because otherwise you're going to have these guys going at each other in kind of a gentleman's way. You're not going to have a heel turn, I don't think, before WrestleMania. Yes, you could do it at WrestleMania, and I've talked about those possibilities, and all four men involved in the main events on both brands do fit the babyface role. But the build, to me, could have been much better, and probably would be, if we had a heel in the Cody and Randy match. Because then you're able to get really deep and cut deep. In this way, if both are babyfaces and you're trying to maintain being a babyface, there's only certain ways you can present arguments and attack verbally your opponent without having the crowd turn on you. It really, I think, hamstrings that build. You're not able to have them really hit personal attacks. You have to stay away from that and talk. Yeah, they're going to talk about legacy and put some cool promo videos together. But I do believe that you're not getting the full build that you could, given that both are in the babyface role. That's how I look at it. And it, again, having Cody also take the belt from Drew right before WrestleMania is it really, I think, does a disservice to Drew, as we all know, and it sours how people feel about Cody, and it's It's just an overall kind of like, oh, okay, we got Cody Randy, but man, it feels a little slimy the way they did it. It's got this dark cloud over it of how they did it. So, yeah. But that's how I feel about Seth and Logan, which is the most likely is good to great match. But it just doesn't feel like it's, oh my God, WrestleMania. Like, we've been here before. Oh boy. All right. Well, I'm going to check my box one more time here to see if I have any other lingering messages. I know I'm doing this a bit early, which is why I don't have as many emails. Let's see. I don't think I do. So I'll end it there. But I'll be back soon with your week in review and maybe some other things. I am going to be moving my platform to a different provider, Spotify, which means Spotify hosts and allows for video podcasting. So that is something I'm looking forward to and perhaps being able to do sooner than later. I'm trying to migrate from my current platform over to Spotify. That doesn't really affect how you guys listen to it. I'm just letting you know that the video portion will be, it's in my sites for Spotify. I'm just having issues trying to migrate all my stuff over at the moment. So anyway, just thought I'd share that for whatever the hell it's worth. If you guys want to follow me on X, follow me, wrestling_audio. You can also email us at mailbag@wwepodcast.com. And if any emails come through after I've published this, you guys know the rule. I will read it on my week in review. So whatever my next show is, which is usually the week in review, I will read it and I'll put the any voicemails I get as well in the week in review because I want to make sure you guys get a voice and I don't ignore any of the emails. So there it is. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll be talking in a couple of days and enjoy the weekend. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.